One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.
How has the addition of both Josh Wurthman as the new AD, but also Lovie Smith as your all's new head football coach, how did that change your plans around yesterday's open practice / spring game, Brad, if at all? And how have you seen a marketed uptick in kind of the vibe around Illini football?
That's a great question. As far as, we'll talk vibe first and plan second, but vibe has been overwhelmingly positive, and the word we use a lot is profound. I've had the pleasure of being here at Illinois for about the last year and a half, and I've heard from those folks who have been here for history, it seems, about the power of the Fighting Illini Nation. And it's been so great to see everybody have something to rally around, and sort of put a stake in the ground that says, we are here and we are going to be relevant and we are going to push hard. So that's been really, really exciting to see, quite honestly, the fans that have stuck with us and stuck with the program. And, it's kind of like, I imagine for them, it's like seeing their child graduate college, or do something of a monumentous achievement. So that's been great to see. And then as far as planning goes, it's not necessarily incredibly different. It's just that the microscope was larger. And when we thought about planning for our spring game, April 16th was always going to be our spring game day. And it just changed the perception for everyone. Our staff talks a lot about how you either take advantage of an opportunity or you mitigate the damage of a negative one. And this was one of those opportunities where we felt we had to put on a show and we had to make sure that people felt that it was a big-time event and something that they could be proud of, in addition to something that they really needed to be at, and it would be a pain if they missed. I think we accomplished that yesterday. I think it was a good day for everyone to be involved. Obviously it's nice when it's 79 and sunny, but certainly it was an opportunity for our fan base to get involved, to interact with Lovie after practice and all of our student athletes after practice. So overall, it's a day that we're really, really happy with. Of course, as with anything, we look to improve on it next year. But for a first go-around with a new coaching staff, an entirely new coaching staff, it's something that we're proud of and excited to put on the field.
And how about from a metrics standpoint, Brad? I know we've read about, and I've covered in D1 Tigger, some of the success you guys have had from a sales standpoint early in Lovie's first couple of days after the announcement, but how much of that has had a lasting impact? And then how did yesterday go from an interest standpoint, sales standpoint, social media standpoint?
From an overall perspective, it's been almost 38 days exactly since Coach Smith was hired. And in the first 72 hours after that hire, we all looked like the greatest marketers in the world because we were the beneficiaries of around 2,400 new season tickets sold. Thankfully, it's nice when you have a product to sell. So that's certainly an area that has continued to see uptick and continue to see year-over-year growth. On the metric side for yesterday, of course, we had over 5,000 fans into our venue, which it's all relative, and on similar days where a Big Ten conference team had over 100,000 people at their spring game. For us, 5,000 was a great day, and that was the highest attended spring game here at Illinois in the last 7 or 8 years. I forget the exact number, but it's a day that, again, you can tell that the interest is there, and you can put people sort of in actions to the interest, and just seeing. It sounds hokey, but seeing our fan base smile yesterday is a pretty cool phenomenon because it hasn't necessarily been that way for all of it, and for a myriad of factors. But it was great to see their engagement and their involvement. One, translate obviously into revenue generated and money spent and support, either through ticket sales or fundraising, but just through a general feeling. Which obviously is a little harder to quantify and a little more subjective, but certainly makes a little more sense. So you've got that side, we've got the ticket sales side, we've got the actual attendance at our spring game yesterday, and then from a social media, digital media perspective, Lovey was gracious enough to join Twitter for obvious reasons, and in the first 48 hours after he had signed up, he found over 25,000 followers on our university and sort of athletic department wide messaging strategy. Our engagement rates with anything associated with the football staff is higher than it has been since we've been tracking those metrics, which goes back a few years. So it's just, at the risk of being completely redundant, it's all signs that we're tracking, either that are qualitative or quantitative, are pointing in a positive direction.
Will you change your branding / approach around Illinois football? And will your goals from an attendance, sales, interest standpoint, will they change significantly for, say, the next season to 3 seasons?
I think if I was to say no to that question, I would probably be fired immediately. And I believe that. It's on us to take advantage of the opportunity. As we talked earlier, you're going to be dealt cards, and whether or not you're dealt for those who are familiar with poker terms, or whether you're dealt a 2-7 or pocket aces, certainly changes how you play the hand. And so it doesn't necessarily change the strategy, win the game, but it does change how you play the hand. So for us now, yes, the expectations change. They have to, because we sit, and when you look at one, financial commitments to coach and his staff, which we believe in, but we have to find a way to make sure that we keep the ship on the right side. And so when it comes to attendance goals and financial goals, and everything is higher, as it should be, because that's what we signed up for. And so when we think about long-term planning, with both Josh and Lovey, does it change the marketing plan and the strategy? Not necessarily. As we said, you have the strategy, and you push it and you push it, and at some point you hope that an opportunity breaks. And this, we really believe internally, is our opportunity to make some noise. So when you have a situation like that, at least I believe, you have to be ready to take advantage of it one way or another. We have to be ready, to sort of own the moment. And when we think about, call it the next year to 3-year plan, our biggest push, quite frankly, is that we have to be more aggressive, and we have to be willing to stand up and say, we talk again internally, but we're the only school in the Big Ten that has orange as a primary color. And it's a bold color. So for us, how do we make orange representative of our fan base and make people proud to wear orange again? A lot of it, when we really get down to the nuts and bolts of strategizing long-term, it's more about invoking pride in our fan base, and making sure that we have Coach Smith and Josh and any of our coaches in a position where they can help our fans feel empowered and feel proud to put on our clothes, wear our logo. As we look at it, when you take a broader scale approach to our strategy for the future, it's even something as simple as 5 days after Coach was hired, we purchased a giant building in Chicago, right on the corner of Ontario and Wells Street, and put Coach Smith sort of looming down at 56 feet tall and 41 feet wide over the city of Chicago, sort of as a homecoming moment. And obviously, he has the tie to Chicago with his NFL pedigree, but certainly something when we think about it, we can't be your quote-unquote grandparents' Illinois anymore. We have to go forward and try to be a little more aggressive in our marketing and messaging standpoint.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.